It's now time for you to meet the board members. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on Meet the Board Members, where we seek to get up close and personal with the persons who sit on the Jamaica Society for the Blind's Board of Directors. Now, today's guest is...
My name is Peter O'Sullivan, and I'm just a regular board member, no special position. While I was working at the University of the West Indies, one of the areas that I was responsible for was running the office of students with special needs. And in order to assist our visually impaired students and our blind students, I had to interact quite a bit with Mr. Harris at the JSB, and he was so helpful to us, and that really was my first introduction to the JSB, interacting with Mr. Conrad Harris on behalf of our Office of Special Needs on the campus of the University of the West Indies. I'm from Jamaica, Kingston. Really, I spent a lot of my growing years up in a little town called Golden Spring, just a mile and a half from Stony Hill in St. Andrew. Attended the best high school in Jamaica, Calabar High School. Then I was privileged to enter the University of the West Indies and spent my 3 years living in the best hall on campus, Taylor Hall. After that, I went into the private sector for about 20 years roughly, and then went back to campus in '92. So that would mean that there's a little gap, because I graduated in '66. So I was really in the private sector for about 25 years, come to think of it now. I went back to campus in '92, and I spent 18 years at the Bona campus, retired for a year, and then spent 6 years down at the Western Jamaica campus. I am married, and I have 3 daughters. That's a little bit about myself. So when I left university in '66, I was employed to the Lascelles group of companies, not LASCO, Lascelles group, Lascelles Democrata group of companies as a management trainee. And it was a new initiative they were starting. They were selecting graduates from the university and have them come into the group of companies and move through. They had several companies in the group. They had must be over 8 to 10 companies. So I would spend 2 or 3 months in each of them, and the idea was that at the end of the time they would appoint me in a sort of junior management capacity at one of the companies. Well, I got as far as doing about maybe 4 or 5 of them, and got to Lascelles Laboratories, and at which point I really just stayed at Lascelles Laboratories. The manager there asked me if I would just stay there in his sales and marketing department, and I said yes, and that's what happened to me. And I spent a number of years at Lascelles Laboratories. I don't remember exactly, till about in the early 80s. I went to the States briefly, and then came back to Jamaica and went to Henkel Chemicals for 3 years, first as marketing manager and then as general manager. And then I went back to the States and did a master's degree, spent a couple of years, and then came out here and took up the job at university in '92 as a warden of Taylor. The Jamaica Society for the Blind, in my mind, plays a very important role in Jamaica society in assisting the population that it serves, blind and visually impaired persons. And I was attracted to serve. After I left campus, retired, I was asked to serve on the board, and I was very happy to do so, because, as I said, my earlier interactions with the JSB while I was working on campus made me realize how helpful they had been both to me and to the visually impaired and blind students who are on campus. And so I realized that in serving the wider community in Jamaica, I'm sure that they were doing a very good work, and I really wanted to be a part of it. For a time, during the years I've served on the board, I've been the treasurer. So I guess one of my areas that I was called upon at university was in finance and so on. So I used that skill, I guess, here for a while. And also still now, I think I play some role in that area with the accountant here and with the treasurer in preparing budgets and looking at the financial statements. So that would probably be more the area that I have attracted most of my interest in financial affairs of the JSB. Financial aspect, I think I've been able to, based on the experience that I've gained over the years that I've been both in the private and public sector, I think I've been able to give advice on various initiatives that they have wanted to do, and also been able to make some suggestions, I remember, for example, when they were about to start the award program, recognizing persons, we were deliberating about the format of it. That one of the suggestions was to have a grand gala at Pegasus, for example. But when we looked at the budget, it was well over $1 million, if I remember correctly. And I didn't see where that kind of money was going to be forthcoming. And it led us to look at other options, and we eventually settled on being part of that University Singers, their concert season, and taking one of the nights and using that to entertain our members and our friends, and at the same time uses the opportunity to have the award ceremony. And we have done it for quite a few years now, and I believe it has worked out very well. And not only has it not cost us money, but we have made some money from it. So that probably is the most, the area in that particular incident, I remember, our activity, I remember, that we were able to pull off, and it has been very helpful to the society. But as I said, if there's an initiative coming up or a suggestion about something, that I will lend an ear to discuss it and, give from my whatever vantage point I'm coming from, my opinion on how best it could be implemented or how we could make it work best, For most of my life, I have had to wear glasses. So I was aware of the importance of sight because, it was brought to my attention that I was deficient to some extent, so I had to have it corrected. So I was aware. But other than that, it was never uppermost in my mind. And then when I got the assignment to set up the office and to oversee the affairs of the Office of Special Student Needs at campus, that was when I really understood the challenges. Two things I understood best: the challenges of that persons faced who were blind or visually impaired, and also, of course, the talents that they had. Also, I should mention that in Taylor Hall, as the warden of Taylor Hall, we took many. I think that is the hall that had the most visually impaired or blind students coming to live on that hall. We are sort of known for that if you were blind or visually impaired, go to Taylor Hall. And so, in fact, we even had a deputy hall chairman, our Senator Floyd Morris, as you know, has gone on to greater and greater things. We learned right away that they were a part of our society that was very helpful in every respect. And so that, of course, that not only me, but many of the students came to take a different view as to the role that blind and visually impaired persons play in our society. The thing that really got to me, though, was a defining moment to me, was when someone, I can't remember who it was now, who said to me, when we were discussing, I forget exactly what was the initiative, and there was some reluctance. We were trying to get someone to come on board on something, and there was a little reluctance. And the person said in the meeting, it's interesting, I wonder if they don't realize that they are just one incident away from becoming blind or visually impaired. And that thing has stuck with me, that I could leave here right now, and in an instant, I could also be blind or visually impaired or suffer some other physical disability. And so it brought home very forcibly to me the importance of ensuring that all disabilities, we must ensure as a society that persons with those disabilities are afforded every opportunity to maximize their potential. And as I say, that thing has lived in me, I can't get it out of my mind. And so it has been a pleasure being associated with the Jamaica Society for the Blind. And the staff here I find very helpful. There are areas that as a board now we are really want to emphasize in 2021, and that is to expand our network and our range, both the range of both geographical and in terms of the services that we offer. I think that we need to do much more. I think we have concentrated too much of our effort in Kingston, and I'm really hopeful that in 2021, despite what is happening with Corona and so on, that we will really make some bold steps to get out into rural areas with various initiatives that we know blind and visually impaired persons really rely on us to provide, so that they can be life-changing for them. And I think that we have a responsibility to really get out there and make a difference. And I hope that that will really come to fruition in 2021. We offer a number of services which are very helpful. Adjustment to blindness is one of the key things that we offer to assist persons who are newly blind or seriously visually impaired to adjust to this new reality. A service that we offer, but not necessarily a service, could be called a service, but an area that we, in our retreat and in our discussions, that we want to place more emphasis on is the prevention of blindness. As you know, there are many things that cause blindness, but Jamaica suffers from a wide range of illnesses and so on, which cause blindness. And I think that we have now seen that it is one of our serious responsibilities to educate the public to their lifestyle and eating habits, everything, every area, to minimize the number of cases of blindness that we have every year that are due to preventable causes, that with changes in their lifestyle and habits and so on, we would see a reduction in blindness. I think that that's an area that we want to focus on, because we would love to put ourselves out of business, meaning no more blind or visually impaired persons to be served, because we have sorted out, And I think that the Vision Center now that we have started, I'm so happy for that, because here we are able to offer services to persons who would need glasses and would also need eye checks and want to find out about the health of their eyes and of their sight. That our Vision Center is now up and running. It's really, really, really a helpful service, and I hope that we spread the word. And by the way, we have been going to schools, which I think is very important, and we want to expand that service to schools so that students can get tested very early. As I said, I was about 10. It was discovered that I needed glasses, and so I would love that we have been going to schools, and I want us to expand that so that very early we can have an intervention in the life of those who need it. And of course, training. We have taken on the role of training persons, providing classes to assist them in getting education. And I think we also have an advocacy role in terms of getting students into our tertiary, high school and tertiary institutions. There are areas sometimes that present a challenge to visually impaired persons. I remember when I was on campus, maths used to be a big issue for visually impaired students, and English used to be a big issue for hearing impaired students. And for us at the GSB, I think we have an advocacy role to ensure that those students, the universities, are aware of the different accommodations they need to make to ensure that the blind students and visually impaired students are accommodated in any way that they need. And I must say, if I'm allowed to that, so far the University of the West Indies has really been a leader in this. That office that was set up, that they really were willing to go the extra mile to accommodate persons in any way that they needed to accommodate them. So this is also, if I might use the opportunity, an invitation to persons out there, young persons out there, young people who are blind or visually impaired and somewhat hesitant as to your next step in life, the GSB will help you. The GSB is here to serve you and to help you take that next step, both in adjusting to your blindness, but also helping you to improve your education, whether at the high school level or at the tertiary level. So this is what we are here for. We want to know that persons who are blind or visually impaired can come here and know that when they come here, they will get an answer to the issues that are concerning them. We need to really expand the geographical reach of the GSB. It is difficult, and very costly. So maybe that is something I should also make a plea for persons to really take an interest in not only accessing our services, but making contribution and donation so that we can have enough, we're not strapped for funds, so that we can really expand our services. We need to really serve a wider clientele, as I said, geographically, and also maybe once we do, for example, recently we have been stunned. I don't know if stunned is the right word, or somewhat taken aback by various articles, radio, television, and the Gleaner, about a number of blind and visually impaired persons that have found themselves in extremely difficult circumstances. Extremely difficult circumstances. And I think that this is an area now that time and money has to be spent on. We always encourage persons to come and become members so that we can attend to whatever needs they have. But it looks like we have to be a little more proactive in that area. It would appear as if there are some who are not in our net. They are out there trying to survive on their own. Maybe they are reluctant, or maybe they don't even know how to contact us or what. So I think the big role now is to have a massive publicity thing, to make those persons aware that, look, nobody suffer before you come to us. Come and become a member, and let us know of your condition so that we can put together a package for you that you can, your life don't have to deteriorate till you become a statistic or you become a radio program item, or a television item. We want to be proactive in this area. One of my hobbies that I used to engage in quite a bit many years ago, I haven't really done it much recently, is playing dominoes. I used to love to play dominoes, and that is what, after a hard day of work, I used to look forward to playing dominoes. But these days I'm not playing that much dominoes because I guess I don't have that many hard days of work, unless my family stress me out. That's the hardest work I have. I love following sports, all sports almost. So whether on the iPad, over the radio or television, I keep abreast both of sports that Jamaicans are involved in, US sports of basketball, NFL, baseball, ice hockey, college football I particularly like. Very interesting year this year between Alabama and Clemson and Notre Dame. So I follow those sports, and that's really my interest to watch, or if I can't, if it's not coming over television, follow them somehow. English football, Premier League, Champions League, Europa, all of those things I find very interesting, and I guess take up a lot of my time. I'm also involved in the church, so a lot of my time is spent both at, interestingly, I have two local churches. I'm a member of one, and actually a deacon there, but the two that I attend, interestingly, were both started at different times by family members in way gone years. The one I'm actually a member of was started by my grandmother many years ago. This would have been must be the 30s, I guess, somewhere way back there. And then later on, my father started a little mission up. This is on Manningsville Road, called Wesleyan Holiness Church, and then up in Manningsville, a place called Golden Hill. My father started a little mission up there, and that has also been taken over by the Wesleyan Holiness people. So I spent time between those two churches, but then I also serve on the board of their training institute, their college, Caribbean Wesleyan College down in Savlamar. And that takes up a bit of my time interacting with both the staff and students. I'm on the board here, so I have to go down there every now and again and so on. So I spend some of my time on that too. My favorite meal, I cannot say, because if I tell you, I might get myself in trouble. It's prohibited in Jamaica, so I only get it when I go to the Cayman Islands, and that is turtle meat. I love to eat turtle meat with lovely hot rice. But turtle, not turkey, turtle. But it's only legally available in one country in the world, and that is the Cayman Islands. So unfortunately, I'm restricted in getting it, access to it. But that is without any doubt my favorite meal. Well, let us start with the staff. To the staff, I'd love to say a hearty thank you for the sacrificial and dedicated work that you have been doing over these several years. Society for the Blind is over 60 years old, and we have survived this long, or the society has survived this long because of the dedication of all of its staff members, from the bottom to the top. Every person has really seen it as their, I don't want to say duty, but as something that they willingly want to participate in, to make the lives of blind and visually impaired persons, improve the lives. And so I want to say a hearty thank you to all staff members. And to all the newer members, I want to encourage you that if you're feeling discouraged, don't be discouraged. You are providing a very useful service, and in time you'll understand the importance. Those who have been a long time, as the church song would say, press along, saints, press along. You two are doing a very great job. To the clients, now remember, if you remember what I said earlier, everybody in Jamaica is a potential client. Because you're an incident, remember what I tell you, stays with me, you're an incident away. And so I see clients as every last Jamaican. Clients in two ways. Clients that are actually blind and visually impaired now and need our services. And I say I would encourage all such persons to become members of the JSB. Participate in all the symposiums and forums that we put on. Make the effort. Come to the library. Find out if you need educational assistance, computer training, any of those things. Please come. We are here to serve you. And to the broader Jamaica population, please see it as something that you really want to get involved in, to contribute in one way or the other, your time, your talent, and your financial resources, so that we can really expand our range of services and the range of coverage that we at present are able to offer. Really, this is the most important part of what I have to say. Everybody, please make it you're going to do a list of things for 2021. Put it near the top of the list to make a serious contribution in one way or another to the work of the Jamaica Society for the Blind. This is a very important institution in Jamaica, and I would encourage everyone to become a part and a partner of the JSB.
Thank you for listening, and join us next time on Meet the Board Members. This has been a production of the JSB Library.